So Michael, when you do your 5 minutes or 10 minutes, are you going to be doing a slide show? Or are you just
I'm just going to show the curriculum, show the slides.
Okay, so you should go ahead and see if you can pull up slides at this point.
Yeah, I just tried. Should be working.
Okay, good. Go ahead and take it. Okay, good, perfect. Go ahead and take that down. We only have a few minutes, so I'm sorry if I'm going to move fast.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I just want to.
Is that you recording, right?
I'm not recording right now. I'll record once people start coming on. And I'll also go Facebook Live, so.
And I just stopped recording.
I started recording, but I think for each one's recording, it will save the video on our own cloud.
Okay.
So we need someone on our company account to record the video.
That's okay. We can have multiple backups.
Also, Brian, can you I set a Facebook Live on Facebook page, so are you able to like live on Facebook?
No, it'll be recorded on Facebook.
Okay.
Is this not working? No, it's not. Oh, it is working. Oh, it is working.
Yeah, I print out everything without problem.
Okay, I'm trying to send this and it's saying stopped. So
plug and print USB. Does somebody put a USB in?
Worst case, send to me and print for you. Do you need to print something?
If I could.
Try and send it again.
If you print right now, if not, send to David or me.
Yeah, it's not allowing me. It's okay. Okay.
那一会儿的话，等一下如果有那个 startup 跟那个 mentor 还有 advisor 上线之后，你们看到他们名字 ，advisor 不用，就是那发言的导师，还有那些创业公司上线，把他们 promote 成 panelist。我刚才给大家都已经 promote 了，然后等下你们试试看，你们能不能 promote 他们？但不知道是不是得不让把你们先弄成 co-host。So Brian?
Yes.
Can you promote Yanjun and Lucy to co-host so they can promote the mentors and startup from attendees to panelists?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Lucy. Okay, I think, oh. All right, you are all co-hosts.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Great.
Right now it's recording.
You must have turned it on automatically. It's fine. I'll pause it just for now.
No.
This is good stuff to have.
但要不要再坐更中间一点呀？我看你的屏幕是偏的。哎，说话。
Outlet is not long enough, so for this.
我挪那个椅子，我试试啊。
严娟，等一下我就。
So who Dua-E?
然后讲完我再回来就行了，怎么样？我先试一下，你看一下效果。
我在这屏幕看一下。好一点，然后再稍微偏边 QB 那个好像没有好一点，但是它会反光。小心。可以 可以的，这个，这样好的，好的。
Ryan,
Yeah.
can you right now put me back to attendee
You want to be back in attendee? Okay.
and put me back?
Wait.
Okay, right now I'm the attendee. Yeah,
Change role to attend. Okay, I'm gonna make you attendee. You're gonna have to text me at this point. I probably won't see you. Ready? When do you want to come back?
can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can. You're just not co-host right now.
Yeah, just put me back.
Put you back at what? Attendee or co-host?
No, co-host.
Okay. Okay, we have one attendee. Sha Min Chen. Is that how you pronounce that? Can you see that?
I think it's not one of our speakers.
Okay, just help me identify like speakers. So our companies, we can bring them in at any time, as well as our keynote speakers. The second you identify any of those, you can start practicing bringing them in.
Speaker 应该不会。对，speaker 说好了，应该就他们自己上。
So just 4, okay. UC Davis, Tanya, okay. Dan, you're frozen, or you're just really still.
I stopped the video.
Okay. So I don't know if we talked about it, and I know we only got a few minutes left, but Michael, I hope we're not sharing the same thing. I have the slides, but I'm taking out a couple, but I hope I'm not gonna be sharing things that you plan on sharing.
I only have 4 slides. It's fine. Go ahead. No problem.
Okay, we're at 11 o'clock. Just preparing to go. Okay. All right, well, welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. We're at 11:01. Can everybody hear me who is on our panel? Can I get
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Great. Well, welcome everybody to our Accelerator program launch ceremony. My name is Brian Sparks. I'm the Business Development Manager at Cubase. On behalf of our entire team and our staff, I want to welcome everybody for being here. I'm super excited about today. It's really an introduction. And so I want to kind of keep this informal. I want to keep it, very Friday in Silicon Valley. I got my Star Wars shirt on with my jacket over the top of it. So if this was a normal situation, we'd all be here. We'd be popping bottles, having coffee, having lunch together and chatting away. And I want to really kind of create the same atmosphere. And hopefully this answers a lot of questions and introduces you to the team and the star of our shows, the startups themselves. Like I said, my name is Brian. I'm the business development manager here at Cubase. I have a background in helping businesses and startups accelerate. I joined Cubase about a year ago and have been here since the very launch. Just a quick introduction of my team as well. I want to thank Dan Zhang, the Director of Marketing and Business Development. Dan is also part of the founding team. She helped launch Cubase in 2019. She's one of the very first employees here at Cubase. She's responsible for marketing and business development. So moving forward, if you have questions, we'll give you her contact so that you can ask her some questions about scaling and sales. She's really good at that. She has experience in the global startup incubator. Before coming to Cubase, she was the vice president of Silicon Valley Entrepreneurs Festival Company, which was a huge success. I would also like to introduce Michael Zhao, who is the lead project manager of the Accelerator program. And he is a Harvard Medical School graduate. He started Longwood Bio, Inc., and also is the founder of LB Ventures in 2016. So I'm very proud to have them as partners. We also have a couple interns, Lucy and Sun, who are a big part of the work that most people don't see, but make this very much possible. One of the questions that we've had in the past is, well, what is Cubase doing this for? Well, I'd like to welcome the startups and the mentors and the advisors. What we're doing this for is essentially getting Cubase's brand out there by providing all the resources, and we want to make a big bang, a big impact. Allow me to just share my screen real quick. I want to walk you through what Cubase is, what our goal is, and maybe give a clearer idea on how we can best utilize our services. Let's see, presenter view. Bear with me, slideshow. All right, so again, welcome to CubeA's Startup Accelerator program. Our focus of our entire accelerator program is on precision medicine, advanced disease diagnostics with AI. So I'm going to walk you through who we are, why us, the accelerator program. Michael is going to come on a little bit later and do a deeper dive after we've heard from our mentors, after we've heard from our startups. We're going to do a little deeper dive on what this program is, what you can expect. We'll hear from our sponsors, and you'll hear a little bit about the resources that we promise to provide. So just a background, CubeA was founded in 2018. CubeA is founded by Hangzhou Overseas Center and is a Silicon Valley platform to connect and support innovation and entrepreneurship with a three-part mission. We really focus on platform, investment, and services. And we have a huge network to help companies who come through CubeA make that possible, and you'll meet some of those today. Some of the CubeA's milestones in 2018, we had a soft opening. We called it the Silicon Valley Life Science Innovation Competition. We had a great turnout. We heard from several local startups, and we're able to really introduce the community in Silicon Valley to Hangzhou Overseas Center and CubeA. In 2019, we had our CubeA opening gathering and networking partnering event, which went really well. We had several local officials. We had mentors from all over the world come check us out. It was an amazing event. And then finally in 2019, we launched the labs, which are now up and running. So just to kind of give a background on what CubeA is, we're a 112,000 square foot facility. We have 15 bio labs at the center of our facility. We have over 20 large suites. We have a 300 person capacity event center with a 25-foot LED screen. We have a huge facility to help support companies launch their business. As a part of our service to our startups, we have offered space here. Now, under the present circumstances, I know that makes that a little bit difficult, but if you're local or if you're looking to come through, this place is yours for the next 4 months. Some of the programs that we've had in the last year is we've launched 2 CubeA brand events called the CubeA Mentor Series and CubeA Training Series. We also had our first CubeA Global Pitch Day. Now, the reason why our CubeA Global Pitch Day is so significant is ultimately as we go through this process, the startups will have access to this platform as well. And it was a huge success. We've recorded this. If you'd like to see it at some point, I'd love to share it with you. But this happened back in June, and we got nothing but great reviews. We had 9 startups join us from Boston, from Baltimore, Dallas, and from Silicon Valley, and it was just phenomenal. That is going to be what these startups experience at the end of this accelerator. And finally, this month, today, we officially launched our first Startup Accelerator program. So again, we're very new, and we're offering everything that CubeA has to offer through our network, our services, our platform, so that these companies can experience what CubeA has to offer. So why choose CubeA? So we're choosing to focus on precision medicine because of the advancements in AI technology, which is booming. And with the global pandemic going on right now, even in the first 2 quarters of this month in Silicon Valley alone, there's been over $1 billion of investment capital poured in, and we feel that this niche is going to give the greatest impact. We are an accelerator program. My picture is over some of my notes. We are not only an accelerator that teaches startups generic business concepts, but also help guide them through technical challenges and research bottlenecks. We've brought in several lecturers that are just top-notch, excellent advisors in this area. So as a startup, you are in a great position to gain the knowledge you need in order to accelerate at this point. So the goal for Cubase and the Accelerator program is we strive to help promising startups launch and scale efficiently while increasing their technological know-how to compete in a global market. Our strategies will help startups develop and focus ideas and concepts and help build the social capital deal necessary with the launch and scale with confidence in every area of creating a sustainable business. The plan is recruit great startups, which we have done. We have 12 plus startups joining us, and we have numerous resources that we'll be providing them in the next 4 months. The timeline. We started this back in August and accelerated very quickly. We went through recruiting, and then we had our deadline. We went through the applicants, chose the startups that we have now through a number of applicants. Today is our launch. And December 18th, we'll have a demo day. Between today and the demo day, we'll have the lectures, which Michael will walk you through later. And then finally, in February, you'll have your global pitch day to hopefully hundreds of VCs that we have in our network. Our target industries this time around is precision medicine, but we also intend in the future to have a few of these cohorts throughout the year and target different industries as the market demands. Our program content includes opportunities to connect with large enterprises with the startups, free office space, personal training, overall guidance, one-to-one pitch opportunities, and ultimately a demo day. Now, if I'm just kind of blowing through this and you'd like to know more about it, this is a conversation that we will have as our cohort goes on. But right now, I just wanted to introduce to you some of the content that we will be presenting. Now, our marquee mentors will be giving lectures throughout the month, not in any particular order, but some of our mentors include Peter Behrman, John Dowling, who you'll actually be hearing from today, Dale Lester Boger. Why do I only have, okay. Piero Scaruffi, Richard Malley, Dr. Li Jing, Tanya Fernandez, who you'll be hearing from today, Howard Edelman, Stephanie Morris, Chris Mehta, and some of our advisors include Douglas Crawford, Victor Farley, Gregory Thiel, Jingho Rao, Alex Zhang, Timothy Hansen, David Gee, and Anthony Lee, including Todd Esker, Sandeep Sharaf, Jun Yi, Herman Chernoff, and Brent Bunnell. We also want to thank our sponsors and our partners. And before we move on to hearing from our keynote presenters and hearing from some of our select startups, I would like to introduce, let's see who we have here. Introduce to you Jane Pang. Jane, are you online?
I am, Brian. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us, Jane. Jane is with US Bank. Jane, go ahead and take it away.
Fantastic. Hi, everyone. I'm Jane Pang, business banking market leader for the Bay Area at US Bank. Welcome to the Cubase Startup Accelerator Kickoff event. It's a pleasure to be here with you today on this beautiful Bay Area morning, and I look forward to the day when we can all connect in person. US Bank is proud to be a sponsor for the Cubase Startup Accelerator program. To kick things off, we have a video to share with you. And Brian, I don't know if we have that teed up and ready to go.
We're off and running.
Life is different these days, but that's not stopping us from living. Like spending quality time with family, supporting local small businesses, and doing what's right to keep each other safe. At US Bank, we're doing our part to turn words into action. We're committed to investing in diverse communities by increasing grants and capital to support small businesses, housing, and workplace advancement. Together, we can create the momentum for positive change. Learn more at usbank.com/action.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
But that's not stopping us from
The mission of Cubase to connect and support innovation and entrepreneurship while teaching basic business
Doing what's right
principles.
to keep each other.
Go ahead, Jane.
Okay, sorry about that. Oh, hang on just a second here. Sorry, I am having technical difficulties now. All right. The mission of Cubase to connect and support innovation and entrepreneurship while teaching basic business principles is something that aligns closely with our priorities at US Bank. At US Bank, we work as your partner to provide financial products and services that make banking safe, simple, and convenient. Our business bankers are also with you every step of the way to provide expertise and experience for the various stages of your business, from funding to planning for growth and expansion. So much of what we can offer our business and consumer customers is powered by new technology and digital innovations that allow customers to bank when, where, and how they want to. The unique circumstances of this year have proven how critical our digital tools are to helping customers stay close to accomplish their financial goals. Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, we assisted thousands of local small business owners apply for the SBA Paycheck Protection Program. In fact, US Bank was one of few banks that assisted non-customers with the application process. Our goal was to help as many business owners in need as possible. As 2020 comes to a close, US Bank looks forward to continuing to be part of the Bay Area community in new ways and enhancing opportunities for diverse communities to reach their financial goals. From free webinars on a wealth of financial topics and personalized service and advice, we are here to support you along your financial journey at US Bank. Thank you again for allowing US Bank to be part of this important program. Thanks for the time, Brian.
Jane, thank you so much. And I'm excited to get to know your services so we can connect you with our startups and again, help them succeed. So thank you for being here. Thank you for US Bank being a part of this process. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
So our ultimate goal here at Cubase is to create a community that helps companies thrive. We have kind of a beehive mentality here where ideas and people come through here, go back out, test them and come back, share, and ultimately build, a great community that helps companies and individuals thrive in entrepreneurship. If you have any questions moving forward, if you want to get in touch with myself, Dan, or Michael, please don't hesitate at any point to reach out to us. Our contact information is on the screen. I will be contacting all of you at some point next week in order to better get to know you, to see how we can serve your needs and connect you to the resources that you need. We really want you to succeed because as you succeed, Cubase succeeds. And we definitely want to help you do the best you can possibly can in your business. Now, for the stars of our shows, we have an amazing cohort here at Cubase. On your screen are just some of the startups that are joining us. I want to give a few of our startups an opportunity to introduce themselves. I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick so I can see your lovely faces. Okay, so I can't. All right, so I'd like to do a little introduction quickly. I'm back on my screen. Everyone can see me. Let me see. I'd like to introduce Metalytics AI. Ryan Singh, are you there?
I'm here.
Ryan, hey, thanks for joining us today. Welcome to the Accelerator program. Can you give a little quick introduction and elevator pitch about your company?
Yeah, so Medlytics AI, our focus is interoperability. We know that interoperability doesn't exist right now with our healthcare system, and we're really tackling this with AI. So Medlytics AI, just real quick, it's an AI population health management platform that is standardizing healthcare data to enable interoperability and precision health. We believe that patients are at the center of healthcare, And as the system moves towards a value-based care system, we are going to be the ones to support the entire industry's shift to value-based care and achieving the best patient outcomes by having the right data available at the right for the right person.
Great. Hey, Ryan, I got a question. I'm going to ask this of the other startups too. What do you think your biggest ask is of the Accelerator program?
I actually have a few, but I mean, if I had to break it down, I think my biggest ask is definitely, can we be connected to the right people who can help us raise the funds that we need to be successful? That is definitely my biggest ask.
Great. Thanks, Ryan. And like I said, I'm going to be reaching out to everybody. I look forward to talking to you next week. And I hope this works well for you. I'm confident. I hope you're confident. But thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us. We're happy to be here.
Great. Thanks. All right. So the next startup I'd like to bring to the stage is Signex. Tan Rasab, are you there?
Unmuting. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. You sound great.
Hi. So Genex is on a mission to disrupt genetic testing for certain specific genes that are used for testing, such as breast cancer, newborn screening, non-invasive prenatal testing. Just to give an example, there are 27 million babies born in India, of which 20% of the deaths that occur under the age of 5 are to do with maternal inherited diseases, most of which can be treated if the babies were tested. Around the world, there are 120 million babies a year, and less than 10 million are screened. We have designed, and we are now developing a patent pending platform which will reduce the cost of creating on-site genetic testing capability to reduce the cost by more than 40 to 50x compared to an existing system. It will reduce the time to test to a matter of hours in a day instead of weeks and months in some cases. And it basically, will create such a shift that genetic tests will be able to be performed at medical centers and hospitals. No need to send the samples to another country or another city and wait weeks, if not months, for results to be achieved.
Great, thank you. Tan, I'm going to ask you the same question. What's one of your biggest asks here?
We have a very long shopping list. So
the top one.
Well, one of the top ones we've got is we've probably got one of the best attorneys through Wilson Sonsini, James Yu, and then we've got the life sciences IP people at WSGR as well through Ali Al-Muzaffar. So the next step is to leverage what we have designed and what we are patenting and what we're developing is in terms of connection with investors, partners. I mean, people such as Ryan's company is interest to us because if he standardized data, we want to be able to access that data to be able to match with the genetic testing that we're able to do. I mean, think of it as we are creating the iPhone of genetic testing. So a platform which offers standardized testing, standardized data management, standardized quality throughout the world.
Nice. Well, I'm excited to learn more about you and your company, and we'll be talking soon.
Thank you
for joining us. All right, next up is HealthWise. Nitin Desai, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Raj is going to do it for HealthWise.
Yep. Yeah, this is Raj Sharma from HealthWise, and our focus is, for the first time in history, you are in a position to hold all your medical records from womb to tomb on your mobile phones. And regardless of where your medical records are, with your doctor, hospital, genetic labs, wearables, doesn't matter, you have the power to view them, download them, and transmit them right from your phones. Now, how is this possible for the first time in history? Well, three things: standards, laws, and technology. So standards that are now making access to medical records universal and uniform. So this data is interoperable from one source to another destination. The 21st Century Cures Act says that all health entities must make patient data available using these standards. and no information blocking. So technology, current mobile devices can hold your entire history and 10 gig of data, and apps on these phones can access your data in a standard format regardless of where the data is. So what was not possible or what was unbelievable is now not only possible, but HealthWiz users are doing this today. And once you have your data with you, what can you do with it? Well, you can do some really cool and interesting things. You can participate in clinical trials with your data. Number two, you can order precision medicine upon submitting your medical history, including your genetic data. Think about that one. And you may even be able to sell your data for research and drug development. The choice is yours. What you do with data is your business. But you can even do some mundane things like shop around for health services now that you have all your data with you. You can switch doctors or hospitals. You can get a second opinion without having to pay for records or wait for them. And finally, God forbid you arrive at a hospital and their servers are undergoing a ransomware attack and they can't treat you because they can't access your records. You can pull out your phone and get treated. So that's our focus, very patient-centric, empowering them to monetize their data by participating in clinical trials and other things.
Great, exciting, Raj. And you asked a great question in our first meeting about what is this for, and I really want to make sure that you get a hold of all the resources you need for you and your team to succeed. What do you think one of your biggest asks is throughout this accelerator?
Yeah, I think what we are looking for is obviously in the ecosystem. Tanvir mentioned, his company and what they are doing. I think there are synergies there. Same thing with Ryan's company. So certainly, we want to obviously be part of the ecosystem and partner with companies in the ecosystem. But we're also very interested in a go-to-market plan/strategy. We are trying to work with some big pharmaceutical companies who are focused on real-world evidence and they're looking for data. And we're trying to figure out how we get in front of them and make a case for using this data, which is standardized for clinical trials and precision medicine. So that we want to get in front of big pharma essentially.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys, and I'm excited to help you get in front of those influencers so you can get what you need.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon. And I'll be reaching out to you next week as well, Raj.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Next up is ARIZ Precision Medicine. Lonnie Bookbinder, are you there?
Brian, this is Brad. I'll actually take it.
Okay, great. Brad, hey, welcome. Great to hear from you. Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about your ARIZ Precision Medicine Group.
Yeah, so Brad Niles, I'm the CEO of, we call it Arise Precision Medicine. And we are a PRDM oncogene targeting company. So what this means is we're developing anti-cancer therapeutics that target the misregulation of a family of genes and proteins known as the PRDMs. The PRDMs are an epigenetic regulator that are disrupted very early on in the cancerization process. So they make a great target as well as a biomarker that really aids in the precision medicine approach for treating patients with cancer. And so we're using a novel approach to hit these previously undruggable targets to kill the cancer cells without harming the healthy cells. Our lead product is for lung cancer, but we're also developing drug candidates for ovarian, breast, colon, multiple myeloma, and other types of cancers as well. With this approach, it's a precision medicine approach with a drug delivery system to allow for specific delivery to the site of the cancer, killing the cancer cells without killing the healthy cells. And the answer to your question, Brian, is the goals for the program here is really to help developing the company and the story behind the company, the messaging behind these cancer therapeutics for not only pitching to investors, but also finding partners in biopharma.
Great. Well, Brad, thank you so much. And again, we've talked a few times, but I look forward to talking to you some more. Good luck in this. And if there's anything that you or any of the other startups need, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll give you all my contact information as we move forward in the next few days.
Great. Thanks, Brian. And thanks for having us.
All right. Okay, so next up is Amplified Sciences. Are you with us, Amplified Sciences?
I am. Hi, this is Diana Caldwell with Amplified Sciences, coming to you from the Midwest, actually. We're in Indiana. So please, before COVID, I was in San Fran and the Bay Area quite frequently because we have strong partnership with and collaboration with UCSF. So Amplified Sciences is a diagnostic startup that is focused on early detection of disease in disease states that need early detection. Our lead assay is for pancreatic cancer. And we're a novel diagnostic in that we actually have a composition of matter. Oh, looks like I'm just, sorry, just got a note to turn the video on. So we have composition of matter IP that we've licensed from Purdue University. We have a working prototype that scales to point of care and published proof of concept data on our lead assay in pancreatic cancer. And we've just closed our seed round of raise. We've got 1.1 million of the round closed. And we are solving a unique problem with a huge medical need, which is, just imagine for a moment you're a patient and you're having some stomach problems. And they've been going on for a while, so you book an appointment with your primary care doctor. And then she orders a CAT scan because she thinks you're having gallbladder issues. The CAT scan comes back and your gallbladder is clean, but she tells you she has to refer you to a specialist, a gastroenterologist, because you have a growth, a cyst on your pancreas. This is a problem that's increasing because imaging is our friend and we're picking up things all over organs that we didn't used to before. But in this specific case, doctors are really left scratching their heads to know what to do. There's a gap in molecular diagnostics and imaging isn't good enough. So you go see a gastro and then he tells you that the surgery to remove the cyst, called the Whipple procedure, is very dangerous and you don't want to do it unless you know, but you have to do something because 74 out of 100 patients with pancreatic cancer die within the first year diagnosis. So if you can catch it early, it's life-saving. And we kind of have a lot of great coverage from Ruth Bader Ginsburg, God rest her soul, that is, she had this exact thing happen after colon cancer survival. They picked up a cyst on her pancreas. They did the Whipple and removed it. It was cancerous and saved her life. And then now, of course, she had her final battle with lung cancer here recently. So that's the clinical problem that we're solving. And what I'd love to get out of this program is to continue to fortify our relationships in the Bay Area. 2 of our advisory board members are from University of San Francisco, UCSF. And also position us as a Midwest sort of flyover state. The VCs kind of fly over us, really position us to get coastal Series A support when we're ready and need to get that round closed in Q2 of 2022. So thanks for including some folks from the Midwest. Really appreciate it.
Well, Diane, thank you. I'm really pulling for you guys because my aunt died, who I love dearly, of pancreatic cancer. So I'm pulling for you and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, next up is Epigen DX. Nikolai, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me well, Brian?
Yes, you sound great. How you doing?
Okay, great. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm really excited and honored to be here. So what we are doing is we are trying to commercialize our test for early cancer screening and differential diagnosis for 5 different cancers. And our approach is very different compared to what everybody else is doing, like Grail, which, as you know, was recently acquired for $8 billion US. Our scientific hypothesis is that cancer is actually a whole body disease, and we are using absolutely different biomarkers. And we have clinical data which we showed, in which we showed feasibility for 5 different cancers, including breast, colon, lung, pancreatic, and ovarian cancer. So as our first product, we are targeting breast cancer, which has about 300,000 new cases, 300,000 new cases in the US and about 2 million cases worldwide. And accurate diagnosis is required to select the best treatment. So we can differentiate several states, for example, benign versus invasive or invasive versus non-invasive. this applies for major types of breast cancer, which are present in the United States. And our test can provide physicians and patients with actionable answers at critical decision points, so biopsy or continuing imaging exam, like that. It also can reduce patients' anxiety due to unknown or inconclusive diagnostics. So all of that, I mean, recently we've been discussing this with several companies in the US and in China. We are getting a lot of traction, and we are definitely looking for partnership to help us raise sufficient funding, navigate commercialization process, and definitely we need lab facilities to take tests to the next level, because many companies are saying, yeah, we are really ready to try it the way it is, but we need to take it to the level of clinical test. So that's who we are, that's what we are trying to do, and very excited and be honored to be part of the Cubase Center.
Well, Nikolai, we're glad you're here. Where are you guys located?
So right now we don't have lab facilities yet, so that's what we are definitely looking for in this relationship.
Or are you East Coast or West Coast?
No, I am local. I am in the Bay Area.
Okay. Well, I'd love to see your face here at Cubase.
Absolutely.
You have a home here for the next 4 months, that's for sure, buddy.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Okay, so our last but not least company that's going to give a quick little presentation is N1 Life. Janice Zhang, you there?
Yes, hello.
Hi, Janice.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity. Hello, everyone. I am Janice. I'm the CEO of N1 Life. N1 Life is a small startup company. We founded this company back in 2019, and we're a bunch of scientists coming out from Stanford. We licensed the patent to do drug delivery. And our goal is to modify these drug molecules or candidates that have problems getting absorbed into human tissues or cells, and if they have a resistance problem. We're handling these molecules on a molecular level, and we're making structural changes. And right now we have a group of scientists, and we will start some work in the Cubase Center, actually. So we're very grateful for the wonderful lab space that we got. And right now at this stage, we are working on 2 therapeutic programs. Our most advanced one is in ovarian cancer and cervical cancer. And we're developing this right now in preclinical stage. And we are also collaborating with both academic labs and commercial companies who are forming these collaborations to apply our drug delivery technology with their candidates to find whether their candidates can benefit from our technology. So our company is more like a platform technology company where we continue generating new drug candidates and new IP. And here at Cubase, I think I'm answering the question right now, but we are looking for mostly a good community and also partnership opportunities, because moving forward, we are moving into clinical studies that we will need a lot of resources and experience. And that's what we're really looking for here, because of the connections Cubase will provide. And with all this wonderful startup neighbors here, I think we will have a wonderful time, and we will really accelerate our journey. Thank you.
Great, Janice. We're excited for you to be a part of the program. We're excited for you to be here at Cubase. So good luck to you. And if there's anything you need, just come on over to the office.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna transition into the keynote speeches from our mentors. But before we do that, I want to turn this over to my colleague, my director, Dan Zhang, for a few comments. Dan, are you there?
Yes, Brian. Can you hear me out there?
Yeah. Hi, Dan.
Yeah, hi. So hi, everyone. This is Dan. I'm the Director of Marketing and BD at Cubase Center. It's a pleasure seeing everyone through Zoom today.
So the vision for Cubase is to connect and support innovation and entrepreneurship. I'm pretty happy and grateful to see so many resources pouring into this accelerator program in the past few weeks. Thank you all for our mentors, advisors, sponsors, and global partners. We can't make it without your help. And congratulations to all the startups who made into the final. I hope all of you achieve success and friendship at Cubase in the next 4 months. Okay, thank you. I'll share my contact information in the chat. See you later.
Thanks, Dan. Wonderful. And Michael, can you step on stage for a second and show
That's
us?
fine. I'll talk about my part later. You can go ahead.
Okay. Thanks, Michael. All right. So we're gonna slide into our keynote speech tonight. Today, depending on where you're at, we're gonna hear from 4 different mentors. We're gonna hear from John Dowling, Tanya Fernandez, Howard Edelman, and Chris Mehta. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. But we're going to begin with John. John is the professor of neuroscience at Harvard University. He was elected to the National Academy of Sciences in 1976, and he is a seasoned entrepreneurial, I would call expert. John, are you there? Can you turn on your mic? We can't hear you.
Now?
There you go, loud and clear with that.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much for the introduction. I am not a seasoned entrepreneur, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm a neuroscientist, taught introductory neuroscience, behavioral neuroscience for over 30 years at Harvard. My research specialty is vision, and in particular, the retina of the eye. We use the retina as a model piece of the brain. Indeed, the retina is a true piece of the brain that is pushed out into the eye during development. So over the years, we've studied its circuitry, its electrophysiology, the pharmacology of the retina, and even the genetics to some extent. And the model systems we've used range from horseshoe crabs at the beginning to humans, which we're working on right at the moment. I've also been very interested in retinal degenerations, and that brought me into the business world in that I was co-founder of a startup that was developing small molecules to combat early AMD. What's happened to the company is a complicated story, and I don't want to go into those details at the moment, but tell you about it later. So most of my career then has been as a basic scientist. I'm now emeritus and have closed my lab, but I've joined the laboratory of one of my colleagues, Jeff Lichtman, an expert in electron microscopy connectomics. I think most of you have heard about connectomics. It enables you these days to take a piece of tissue and cut thousands of sections in just a day or so. And then there are ways to orient those sections for appropriate imaging and potential reconstruction. One of our prized pieces of equipment is a new Zeiss microscope that enables you to take 61 electron microscopic images simultaneously. So we are putting together an enormous amount of information about the retina. But we're not using connectomics at the moment to reconstruct neural tissue as most laboratories using connectomics does. Rather, we've been using it to study a retinal disease, a rare form of macular degeneration called macular telangiectasia, or MACTEL. It's an age-related disease causing lesions in the central part of the retina that includes the fovea. And of course, the fovea is the site of our highest resolution vision. So you lose the fovea, you can't read, you can't recognize faces, you can't drive. So in those people in which the lesions appear in the fovea itself, it's a very devastating disease. Now, what we know about MACTEL is that there is this, again, central region, we call it the MACTEL zone, where it's been shown that the glial cells, the Mueller cells, have disappeared. And why this seems to be very significant is that in the retina, as in the rest of the brain, neurons don't synthesize serine. It's the glial cells that do it. And in the central region of the retina, in those patients with MACTEL, there's a loss of Mueller cells. So that area of the retina is very serine deprived. And of course, what serine does is to make many lipids, many of which are very important and critical for mitochondrial function. And so what we've found is that the mitochondria are very severely affected in a characteristic way in MACTEL. Not only in the MACTEL zone in this very central area, but we also see lesions in the mitochondria somewhat away from the MACTEL zone. But the mitochondrial lesions outside of the MACTEL zone are not nearly as severe as we find in the MACTEL zone. And so it's quite clear that the patients still have vision outside of the MACTEL zone, although some deficits have been shown. So that's sort of a thumbnail sketch of what we're doing right now, just to give you a sense of what we're interested in. If you want a little bit more information about myself, I've published about 280 papers in 7 books. So I look forward very much to working with all of you and contributing, if I can, to those people attempting to set up startups. Thank you.
John, incredible. Thank you. And we're really honored for you to be here. Can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this. I'm excited to learn from you, as are most likely the startups to hear more. So thank you again.
You're welcome.
So next up, we have Tanya Fernandez. Tanya is the founder and managing partner of Dreamcatcher Ventures, general partner of Biomed Innovations, board member of U.S. India Science and Technology Endowment Fund, and has been an instructor, mentor, investor, coach at UCSF, UC Davis, go Aggies, Harvard University, and Berkeley. Tanya, welcome.
Thank you, Brian. Was not expecting the Go Aggies, but good, you remember. So first I want to start by thanking Cubase for the opportunity to talk to all of you and actually commend them. You know, when I got into this, I wasn't really sure what the program Cubase has, and to all you entrepreneurs, I think they've set up what seems like a very exciting program for you in the months ahead. I was asked to share my background, so I'm going to do that. I started out as a scientist. I actually got my doctorate in India at ACTRAC on an NIH scholarship. So I've always been very interested in cross-border. I did a lot of work on patients in India, comparing them to patients in the US. Did that for a long time. Then was a staff scientist at the National Cancer Institute. And then in 2004, I jumped into what they call the dark side. I jumped into venture capital then, and I have since then spent over a decade as a venture capitalist. And then finally also became an entrepreneur. So I understand the pains and the challenges and opportunities of an entrepreneur. And I'm really very deeply grateful to having been able to step in all those shoes, because I think they're all different roles. But once you go through that entire spectrum, I think it allows you to see businesses very holistically. I think as a scientist, and I see that most of you are scientists and technologists, you know, you learn the power of data, you learn how to build hypotheses and how to test them and validate them. And you learn the power of being analytical. And then as a venture capitalist, I think you learn the art of fiscal discipline. You learn how to de-risk business models, how to put capital into value-based investing, and how to turn projects into companies, because at the end of the day, you've got to return money to your limited partners. And then as I think as an entrepreneur, and I also run an oncology startup, you actually learn how to stay grounded while reaching for the stars. I think the job of an entrepreneur is interesting because you have to sell the vision of where you are today, and you have to sell the reality of where you are today and the vision of where you want to be. And so it teaches you, to bootstrap. It teaches you perseverance, endurance. It teaches you to be humble. So I think going through all that, I worked with Burrell, and we had a huge portfolio of 103 companies right across therapeutics, diagnostics, healthcare, IT. And in 2014, I decided to start Dreamcatcher Ventures. And I think it's a strategic advisory services for entrepreneurs. And I think the tagline of my firm would tell you everything. It says, if you build castles in the air, that's where you should build them. But then you need to put the foundations under them. I'm a big believer, and I see this go wrong with so many entrepreneurs, that as you build and scale your businesses, if you don't take the trouble to set the right foundations, sandcastles will crumble. And therefore, it's important to take the time to do that. So at Dreamcatcher, I work a lot with entrepreneurs to build a strategic and financial roadmaps to help them think of the different asset classes that are out there for financing, to do product market fits and things like that. I'm also a general partner in a seed stage fund, Biomed Innovations. That's we are focusing a lot on early stage. We're still fundraising, so we have the last part of capital to raise yet, but our charter is to invest in early stage companies. I'm very big on cross-border, so it's based in Poland. I manage it with my partner there. And we are focusing on US, Europe, so it's a lot to do with European and US innovation. And I also serve on the board of the US India Science and Technology Endowment Fund, which again is cross-border, and for entrepreneurs in the US that are looking to leverage strengths in India, and Indian entrepreneurs who want to work with the US. So a couple of interesting there. So I thought the initiative that all of you are doing is pretty interesting. Precision medicine, we all came from the blockbuster area where, we were developing drugs for one size fits all. And we've now, for the past, many, many years moved into precision medicine. And I think what precision medicine has taught us, that you require so much of innovation at so many different levels, because you have to cater to so many different stakeholders, right? The payers, the providers, the patients. And I think Ryan spoke about it, and maybe Tanvi too. We have learned the power of outcomes data, because at the end of the day, right, it's all about how do patients access this innovation that you're building. And I would highly recommend all of you to think through that. So think of what is reimbursable. What are your channels to market? I mean, you all have the advantage of being surrounded by some, very bright minds, people who've had successes and failures, and you have to learn from both of them for the thing. And I think at the last, I guess I would just like to say, because it would be very remiss not to mention this, since we're all in the heart of the pandemic. I think COVID-19 has taught both entrepreneurs and investors some important lessons. It has taught us, actually, I think for startups, which are generally chaotic, we know that they're most vulnerable to this pandemic, right? Because you have to think about what business metrics you want to focus on. And you need to think about what products are really getting sold, who's making these decisions, who has the cash to do that, what is cash flow going to look at. But on the positive side, if one is to look at any positive side during this pandemic, it is that during a storm, I think it's where new business models are built and new opportunities are created. And this is what, as an entrepreneur, you should focus on, because this is what investors are focusing on. We are looking at new markets that have got created, and entrepreneurs who know how to customize their models to this opportunity. I think I'll stop there. I'm a very quote person. I love quotes. So I will give you a quote from Gandhi, which says, be the change that you wish to see in the world. I think listening just to other entrepreneurs, you have great stories to tell. So, we're all here to support you.
Great. Tanya, thank you so much. We're so humbled for you to be here and to help these entrepreneurs out. On behalf of QBay, I can't thank you enough.
My privilege.
So next up is Howard Edelman. Howard is the CEO of Advanced Resin Therapeutics in San Francisco. He's the chairman of the Medical Devices and Digital Health Screening Committee at Life Science Angels. He's the VP of Business Development at Squadra Life Sciences. He's an entrepreneur in residence at UCSF Innovation Ventures. Howard, how are you doing? Welcome.
Good. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'll give you a 2-minute summary, and then I'll probably focus a little bit more on Life Science Angels, because I think that's where many of the entrepreneurs, would like to understand a little bit more, since I'm sure they're all looking for early stage funding. I have a biomedical engineering background, and most of my career has really been in the device world. I started out managing R&D and operational groups at Johnson & Johnson, Zeiss, CooperVision, Biorad. In the last 20, 25 years or so, has really been more as an entrepreneur, and primarily in orthopedics, and got to understand what it was like to conceive of an idea and then drive a company to profitability and lead in a market segment. One company was Vitalware, that was an Inc. 500 company for several years in a row. So really got to understand, that experience end to end. Later, I was brought in as the GM in a private equity roll-up and built out the device division that we sold in 2014. And then in the interim, I started consulting a lot and doing an array of things really in the early stage market. I have a bunch of different roles now. I'm supposed to be CEO of 3 different companies. One of my problems, I don't know how to say no to certain things. And they're far ranging, primarily in device. The one that's maybe the most interesting is Advanced Resin, which I set up a JV in China, and we're marketing a first product in the drug delivery sector, in the smoking cessation application. And as you mentioned, I chair the Medical Device Digital Health Screening Committee at Life Science Angels. So see a lot of early stage projects. We do a lot, of course, and get fellows from biodesign at Stanford that help us do a lot of the initial diligence. I will be transitioning from that role and focusing more on syndication and working with other primarily healthcare angel groups across the country to share deals and get them funded and so forth. At any given time, I'm probably raising for 4 or 5 companies. And investing in them, advising them, and sitting on boards and so forth. And as you also mentioned, I have an EIR role at UCSF, and one of my pet projects is organizing EIRs around the country at different institutions like Hopkins, Hospital for Special Surgery, and so forth. At Life Science Angels, which some of you may know about, we do early stage funding. Our typical bite size is 3 to 500K. We're usually first in and like to lead. And a number of other angel groups will look at us to do the diligence and tend to follow. We march to a dinner schedule every other month. We'll have dinners, and then during the year, every other week, we'll screen companies. We have 2 committees. Device and Digital Health, and then our Bio Committee, which is sort of a catch-all for pharma, genomics, molecular biology, projects like that, which I think a lot of the folks here may have a little more interest in. We're always looking for new deals, and we try to do quite a bit to help the companies if we can. We have a very broad network, over 150 members, and we have reach throughout the country. At many of the top tier institutions. Again, we do a lot with Stanford, UCSF here locally, and other local angel groups, primarily Band of Angels, Tech Coast Angels. We're starting to do more with East Coast groups like Mass Medical Angels, MD Angels, Gopher Angels, and so forth. So if we have interest and we can get over a threshold, then we'll actively work to help syndicate the deal and get you guys, what you need. Because really, for selfish reasons, we want to protect our investment, but also help, ensure success. So yeah, that's my background in a nutshell. I'm excited to help, and part of a number of other incubators, primarily in the Bay Area. So I dedicate a certain portion of my time to help companies. So looking forward to it.
Great. Howard, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. All right, so our final mentor to speak is Chris Mita. Chris, I hope I'm not butchering your last name. Am I butchering it?
No, it is Maida in Italian, but Mita is fine. It's been
Okay.
Americanized
So
over
Chris,
time. So thank you.
Chris,
Yeah.
you are the Chief Business Officer at Incel DX Inc., 30
Mhm.
years of leadership in the diagnostic and pharmaceutical industries, Chair of Women in Bio San Francisco chapter, and also Board of Director for the Claremont Biosolutions, and the President of Response Genetics in 2012. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Excited to work with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Likewise, I thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to speak today, and I'm excited about the QBay program. I think it's very exciting and really happy to see this type of program helping entrepreneurs. This is what everybody needs, and I hope that I can be a resource. And as you mentioned, I have had decades of experience. I worked in large companies. I was at a company that was diagnostic products that got bought by Siemens. I was a VP of sales and marketing there. I started in sales actually. And then, you know, I wouldn't say I got bored, but I kind of did get bored. I wanted to get into operations. And I also wanted to be thinking about strategy along the way. So I went on to ultimately getting to Bio-Rad. I was the business unit manager at Bio-Rad. Worked with Dr. Wallace. He was fabulous to work with, and worked with them. I oversaw 35 R&D, an R&D group of 35, and then all the way out to commercial. At Bio-Rad, interestingly enough, you're not responsible for commercial in terms of the people. You are responsible for the revenue, but not the people, which is a little challenging. So you have to influence people to sell your product. So that was an interesting experience for me. And then I went on to, I could see the convergence, or at least I thought I could see the convergence of pharma and diagnostics coming together. So I decided to go into pharma, and I worked with Shearing AG and oversaw the multiple sclerosis drug, Betaseron, $700 million drug for a couple of years. And then they moved it to New Jersey. And my family did not want to move to New Jersey. So they found another position for me, and it was an awesome job where I oversaw 40 PhDs, MDs, and PhDs. And we basically were overseeing phase 1, phase 2, and phase 4 trials. So I got to do that. I loved it. They moved to Seattle, and my family didn't want to move to Seattle. So I then became vice president of women's health at Roche Diagnostics, and oversaw the entire portfolio from research out to commercial there. And then I decided I really wanted to get into startups. So I ended up leaving the VP job at Roche after 6 years. And that was an awesome experience. I actually am proud to say that I brought the HPV product to market, and I was pretty excited about that. We really brought a very sensitive, specific product. It was PCR, it was real-time PCR. First, we started with standard PCR and then real-time. And then I moved into startups, and my first startup we sold right away. It was a device. I hadn't had much experience in device, but it was a cervical device. So I did have experience with that with respect to my HPV background. And then I went on and became CEO. I was president and COO of that company, and then I became CEO of another company, and we sold that to Fluidigm. And then I went on to become president of a CLIA lab in Los Angeles. I was commuting back and forth, and it was an oncology company, and it was a great experience because I got to actually work with pharma, and it was my big foray into working with pharma. I'd worked for pharmaceutical companies, obviously, but I'd never really worked in this capacity where we combined diagnostics and pharma together. And I did some of that at Roche, not as much as I did at this company. And so we worked with GSK and a couple of other pharmaceutical companies. That was great. My husband took ill, and so I had to leave that job, unfortunately. And I was going to just consult, and then my current employer, whom I've been with for 8 years, IncelDX, and we've brought the company from 1 million to almost 10 million now. Bruce talked me into starting with their company. I didn't think I'd be there 8 years, but I've been there 8 years now. And we have a really interesting technology. It's flow-based, and we focus primarily in oncology. We've figured out a way to take solid tumor and actually homogenize it and liquefy it so that it can be used in a flow system. So we've got product for non-small cell lung, head and neck, cervical, breast, and soon to be bladder. We're getting ready to do that. We are FDA regulated. We are audited 3 times a year. We are under ISO 13485. I oversee the operational piece, but I also do all the B2B. And so I'm very keyed into, we do a lot of companion diagnostics. I wanted to just actually show a few slides here, and that's where I've been. And we, I'll tell you one thing that I have seen us do, which I think has been quite interesting. We have been in this oncology space for a long time, and we've been moving our business along nicely. And we ended up solidifying a companion diagnostic with an HIV company last year. And the company is called Cytodyn, and they had an HIV leronlimab product therapeutic. And Bruce, our CEO, is very schooled in HIV. And along comes COVID. And what I wanted to impart to everyone here today is we actually figured out a way to actually get ourselves involved in COVID. We pivoted, and it was a really interesting pivot. I won't take the time to explain it, but it is an important message to everybody that starts a small company. You never know when an opportunity is going to come along, and you need to be very keen on all opportunities in front of you, because we did that, and we've had an incredible 8 months. I mean, it has been, we've got all kinds of research projects we're involved in 2 FDA trials. And so we really created another opportunity, which now obviously we've not gone off of our oncology, but it is an interesting twist to I think a very important lesson in entrepreneurship, where you just simply do not know where the opportunity is going to come. So never, turn your back on something, because you just never know when that right opportunity will come and you can leverage it. So I wanted to show a few slides. Is that possible, or?
Yes, Chris, go ahead. I've empowered.
It is, just go ahead.
Okay, all right. So can you see this or not? Wait.
Just click share screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Thank you. Got it. Okay. Yeah, there. Can you see that, or is it large enough, or? Okay, so I just wanted to, my area of expertise is diagnostics and pharma. I've worked on both sides of that, in both areas for quite a bit of years. And so I have knowledge in both. But the thing that I love doing is precision medicine. And the reason is I think it is a great opportunity for patients. Ultimately, the patient wins on this. And so I have been sort of focused on this for a long time. It's one of the things that IncelDX, company I work with now, does, and we do it well. And we've worked with Bristol Myers Squibb, J&J, Cytodyn, Insight. We've got, quite a list of pharma companies that we've worked with, and it's been very exciting. And I oversee those programs, and it's been fun, really fun. And I think ultimately we've really produced some great products for the patients. But and you may have seen this, but I just wanted to let you know, if you're in this space, that this is a really key piece of having to understand how to go through the process. And if you're going to put together a product like this, you've got to understand that you have to govern yourself under the ISO 13485 rules and regulations, and that it's paramount that you do that right from the beginning. That's my message here. Don't start at, after you've gone and figured out the product. That's too late. You've got to do it in the beginning. Also, if you're going to be working with a pharmaceutical company, if you go into phase 1, you may be disappointed, because a lot of drugs fail at phase 1. So it's better to look at phase 2A or phase 2B process. I have already tried to be, kind of look at that phase, because the drug, the molecule has been vetted by that time, and you have a better shot at, going on to phase 3. So that's my takeaway there. I mean, I could say a lot more about that slide. I think the other things that I wanted to say is really understand your market. Here are the key Q&A that you got. Unmet need. What's the market? You can have an unmet need, but the market size may be not big enough for an investor to want to invest in you. So you've got to look at that. And so again, really key pieces: technology capabilities, what problem you're solving, and can you articulate that problem? I advise companies a lot. I'm an advisor for CARBEX, which is a $600 million fund, funds companies that are in sepsis and also antibiotic resistance. It's been an awesome 3 years working with them. I love it. And you always have to look at that unmet need. Are they solving a problem, and how are they doing it? Of course, I could go through here, but I just wanted to share these. And then this is the third slide. You really need to understand the patient flow. If you're going to be in diagnostics, are you a screening tool? Are you a diagnostic tool? Are you monitoring? Where do you fit in this conundrum, or I should say algorithm of patient flow? Really, it's a conundrum in the sense that often people don't really understand where the problem is that they're trying to solve, and they get caught up in the wrong place, and then they can't figure out how to actually translate that into valuation, and ultimately saying, well, we have, we're a screening tool, this is how big the market is, or we're a monitoring tool, and this is how big the market is. So these are really key questions I think you need to answer. And of course, then developing and validating your strategy, and then, putting together risk profiles. So I just wanted to share that a little bit because I thought, I'm going back now. I just wanted to kind of, and how do I get back here? Oh, gosh, hold on a second. Okay, there I am. So yeah, I can unshare now. I'm just wanted to actually, so that's all I wanted to say. I guess that's a point that I wanted to make. I can't get out of the slide deck now. I don't know why.
Just hit the, there's a button at the top. It says stop sharing.
I know, I can't, I don't know why my, there it is. Okay, there, it wasn't dropping down. I don't know why. Anyway, so those are my just kind of key pieces about precision and personalized medicine that I think are really important. And, I've been really blessed in that I've had a great experience all the way through in every company that I've had. And I ultimately always think about the patient and what's the problem you're trying to solve for them. Because at the end of the day, that's why we do this, trying to make it better for the patient. Thank you. And thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Chris. Your Wi-Fi is much better right now.
Yeah, that's because I'm sitting closer to the router. Yeah, exactly.
So Chris, Howard, Tanya, John, thank you so much. I really look forward to hearing you speak to the entrepreneurs as this process goes along, to give us an overview and an introduction of how this accelerator is going to flow. I'm going to introduce Michael, and he's going to walk us through the process, and you get a better idea of how this will be presented. Michael, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, you sound good. Go ahead.
Again, it's a great honor to welcome all of you to be a part of the program. As Brian introduced, we are running the program for precision medicine, even though there is no such thing called precision medicine technically. We just wanted to serve the healthcare related startups, especially in such difficult time. I know a lot of companies got strong scientific backgrounds, but sometimes the market wants to see more than that. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy the 4-month journey. I wanted to briefly introduce the schedule of the program. So after the opening ceremony today, our first event is going to be on November 2nd. Stephanie Mara is from UCSF. Innovation Ventures is going to give us a talk to share the experience about the entrepreneurship from the point of view of University Innovation Center. And Tania Fernandez is going to share the experience about the investment and also entrepreneurship. Howard Edelman is going to share the experience, and John Dowling is going to tell his own story about the startup research interest and the translation from the universities. For all of the talks after the speech of the mentors, there are going to be 2 company pitching for their own company. For their own project, and the suggestions is going to be given, and the VCs are going to be invited to each of this event as well. In next year, 2021, we have Peter Biersman from Columbia University to share experience about the entrepreneurship and translation from the university. We have Chris Mita from IncelDX to share experience about the entrepreneurship. And we have Todd Asker from Morgan Louis and Bocas to give a presentation and suggestions in terms of the legal help for new biotech startups. And we have Sandeep Shroff, the founder and CEO from my startup CFO, to introduce for us about outsourced financial services and give suggestions about financial plan for an early stage startup. And for the closing ceremony, we have Lei Xing from Stanford University. So I want to thank you, thank all of the speakers today, John, Tanya, Howard, and Chris. I want to thank our team for making this happen. Dan, Brian, Lucy, Yan Lu. I want to thank all of our partners who have been rooting for us from day one. LDV Partners, LB Ventures, Hita Ventures, New Frontier Capital Management, Mizuho Securities, Button Capital, Xingyuan Ventures, Hanhai Investment, Yuhang Capital, Mighty Capital, Crosslink Bio, OneLink Capital, Sand Hill Angels, WI Harper Groups, and of course, US Bank. We cannot cover everybody's name in here. Thanks a lot for your support over the years. Also, I want to say the program is totally for the healthcare community and totally free for all of the startups. We just wanted to serve the early stage startup better. If you can learn anything or connect with anyone, we hope you can take the most advantage of it. It's all your resources for the future. Of course, if you're super happy, you're also more than welcome to donate us or even donate to my personal account. Sorry, just kidding. It's totally free. I hope you guys can join the whole journey in the 4 month and see you in the first event on November 2nd. Thank you.
Michael, thank you so much. That concludes our Accelerator ceremony. If you were here today, you'd be standing here in front of Cubase. We would be going inside. And if you are on the West Coast or in Silicon Valley, you'd come in through these doors, and at any time you are welcome to come through and utilize our space.
That's great.
We would be in here. We would literally be in here right now if not for this pandemic. But again, if you're local, we are open. We love to see you come to the doors. I'm excited to talk to all of you, get to know you, give you the resources that you need to be a success. I'm excited for this journey. Thank you all for coming. This is about building community, building relationships, and ultimately building your business. That concludes our ceremony. Again, thank you all for joining us, mentors, advisors, all of the attendees. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Keep connected.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great Friday.